backpacked and you're ready to go. There's just one thing I think that you should know. Hey, you're my girl. You're my girl. I don't wanna talk now, baby. I don't wanna try. I don't wanna say now, baby. Now come on, give it a try. You're my girl. Hey, you're my girl. You're my girl. Told you once before I heard it. Don't want you messing around. I don't want you messing around now, baby. I'm down here all over town. You're my girl. Yeah, you're my girl. You're my girl. Get home. Backpacked and you're ready to go. There's just one thing I think that you should know. Is you're my girl. Yeah, you're my girl. You're my girl. Woo. Yeah, yeah. You're my girl. Come on, get home.
Yeah.
You're my girl.
You're my girl.
I am your girl.
You are. My Lori.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. At least you finally admit it after 40 years.
I have admitted it before.
I know. All right. So, but wow, don't you sound good?
I don't know. I'm not listening. But we
listened
to the show last night, and what was happening is Steve's microphone is a big, powerful one.
Big, powerful microphone.
It canceled mine out.
No, it's not that it canceled yours out. It's yours was not turned up enough. The thing with this, I don't want to, everything leads back to Randy Jackson, and I apologize for that. But,
Why? What did Randy do?
What did Randy do? What is this?
I mean,
Randy didn't do anything. Wait a minute, I need to,
we're going to blame it on Randy?
Blame everything on Randy. There we go. Kids, nice. Look at this. Oh, you redecorated the place.
You did?
No.
There's a welcome sign.
There was a welcome sign. I don't hear any theme music. I don't know what's up with that. The people in the back must be asleep.
I don't think we need the theme music.
You don't like the theme music?
Well, we're talking. Mr. OG, we played your song for you last night, and you were not here.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
Mr. OG, we played Trick of the Light by the Entwistle Band for you last night. But you were nowhere to be
ordered extra
found.
breadsticks and everything. And
That's right.
You did the deep six. You must have been out sitting on that log with those other derelicts.
He's one of the children of the lawn.
He's the children of the log. You saw the picture.
Oh, no.
He's the children of the log.
With the leprechaun?
No, I was talking about the picture that you showed me that he posted.
Oh, when they were in high school.
Children of the log. Yeah,
and someone said emphasis on high.
Yeah, and I forgot to look at who the
teacher was.
Yeah, because I don't remember.
I told you who it was.
The teacher?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember who I did photography with there.
At Educage?
Yeah.
Did y'all call it the cage?
Oh, Angus said, Lori sounds great tonight.
Why, thank you, Angus.
You should see what she's wearing. I'm telling you.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks, Angus. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Muttlux. My purple muttlux.
No, please. Come on. I got a show to do.
Oh, shit.
What it was, the way Randy has the, I showed you, Angus, the loop back and the sound source, so that I can be out in the room with, that's really what all that bullshit is for, so that I don't have to wear some kind of thing, but I feel like I'm in the room with the person and so on and so forth. So, the input for the other microphone.
Michael, you are a megastar.
Megastar.
Michael Newton. One of my favorite cookies. Okay, now this is what I was showing you. If you would glance this way.
Yes, I think that's this way.
Activate a stars party. That comes up there and it tries to trick you into hitting it.
Well, don't hit it.
I don't, but it's so close to where I have to write to the people.
Okay, well, hey,
why do we have that?
Because we're almost on.
Oh, Lori Richardson, you are a mega star. Like this new code?
Right.
Right.
Well, they're all megastars, but man, let me tell you what. The fact that you're here and brought your lawn chairs.
Our lawn chair people.
That's,
Children of that. It was so funny when Pat said children of the lawn.
Children of the lawn. Well, listen, we've got a, what's this now? Is this another message? Angus. Still? I don't know. There's way too many devices. These frickin' things.
Oh, Brenda said that Lori Richardson sounds great, or me?
Oh. She has to make you say it out loud. No, you, Lori Longo, sound great.
Well, she spelled it Lori, so...
I see. So she had the.
Hey, do you like to be called Steven when your name is Stephen?
Yeah, but it's not said any different. I'm not like what's his name, the basketball guy. I'm not Stefan.
Oh,
really.
Gail said, "Can tell you're on a mic tonight, Lori."
You see that?
Well,
I shoved it up her ass. No.
yeah, Sue says it sounds crisp.
Yeah, no, it's the thing what I was saying is, we what we can actually do in this medium and on these platforms is limited based on how many people we have working and our broadcast abilities and the software and stuff that's available to us. But being a Macintosh fan, this now would be a good time for the Apple to come up. This thing just makes it so easy for me to add new stuff and track where it goes. So all I had to do, her mic was working perfectly because you can see it. There's for lack of a better word, when you're watching the rock and roll thing and they're in the studio and they show the meters doing this, that's visualizing what the sound is doing, right? The farther to the right it goes, the louder it is, and
Oh.
And so these are meters too, the guys that do that. So you can see it, but it doesn't necessarily tell me what you're hearing. So what we did today was we went in and what did we do? We recorded some of just us talking with the mics adjusted.
We tested it.
And lo and behold,
yes,
there we were.
And Frank Feeney was sleeping last night during the show.
Wow.
Talking
Grandpa
about Mr.
Poopy
OG.
Head.
Grandpa Poopy Head.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait, is our guest coming in at 10 after?
I hope so.
That's 3 minutes.
Oh, well, then I should... our guest is going to be interesting for me tonight because he's a drummer. I'm a drummer. He's an educator, really. Hang on, let me see if I have
His name is Joe Bergamini. And he was in a band called Forefront. He's a drummer.
But Angus sent me some...
And he does clinics and writes books.
Where did he go? I need to...
What do you mean? Where did who go? Angus?
Angus. I know where he went. No, this.
He went to polish off the rest of those Oreos from last night.
But with coffee.
Thank you, Brenda.
This is Joe. I'll get it with... Oh, Brenda.
Brenda. Okay. Thank you, Brenda.
This is, nice drums, too, by the way. That's a serious set. This is a serious guy. I'm going to let this loop around again because I want to see those rims. Here, come on. Angus, once more with feeling.
The things that excite musicians. I want to see those rims.
Well, I have a lot of friends that say that. Okay,
yeah,
so that's
cars.
Tama. That's Tama stuff, and that's the nice wood. That's all. Yeah, okay. So, and that's down at Drummers Collective. But there. Look at is that light or are those copper-colored rims?
You'll have to ask.
I have
Joe Bergamini.
Yeah. And so there you go.
Frank Feeney posted a picture of an old guy because he fell asleep last night.
Listen, that's okay. Grandpa Poopy Head.
That's right. Hey, man.
It is okay.
I'm sure it's really cold and stuff over there. And
yeah, way over there.
Where are you? Boca, Jupiter. Meanwhile, we are going to get cold this weekend. We're going to get down in the 30s, people. And I know you New Englanders, Northerners are going to get maybe a nor'easter. Wait, what is Jeff saying? LL should have an arm that comes on camera like Soupy Sales.
White fang. White fang. Black
no tooth. No white. Fang.
Oh, yeah, no white fang for anything else.
No, we do not say that.
Go ahead, speak.
Oh, me? Okay. Frank
Well-
Feeney had to turn the AC off. We did too. We
Yeah,
actually
it's so
turned the
cold
heat
we had to
on
open the doors.
No, the other morning
All
we
right,
turned the.
guess what?
Our guest is here.
Someone's at the door.
Who's that knocking at the door?
It's Joe.
Oh.
There he is. That's a drummer for you, right on time. Well, not
Hey,
really.
Joe.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being had.
Story of my life, brother. Story of my life.
Hey, you're a drummer. That's the way it's supposed to go. And I'm gonna ask you for your favorite drummer joke, but we'll get there. How's life been for you, man? It's been a little crazy.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good, actually. I've been teaching a long time, and when the pandemic hit, I just like everyone went on Zoom, which I was doing before, and so I was okay, and it was cool. And now I'm back out, playing, touring, and getting down to your neck of the woods a lot, actually.
Okay. Bring it on down, man. Where are you playing down here and with who?
So I tour with this group called the Doo-Wop Project. It's a bunch of guys I met doing the show Jersey Boys on Broadway.
Sure.
And so I guess, I don't know, a lot of retirees in Florida or something, I don't know, but we're down there all the time.
Well, yeah, you're right on the cusp with doo-wop music down here. You're right on the cusp because, yes, they were alive when it was happening, but do they remember being alive when it was happening? That's the question. So,
We don't care about that as long as they come to the show,
Well, so what?
What town are you playing at?
I was just at the Kravitz Center in West Palm.
Yeah.
And then we're not doing it this time, but we play at Ruth Eckerd a lot.
Sure, up in St.
Bobby
Pete.
Rossi.
Bobby Rossi, good old friend from New York.
And then we do a symphony version of the show. So right before Christmas, I was with the Naples Symphony in Naples for a week.
That's our neck of the
That's
woods.
just down
Yeah.
south of us.
Yeah, we're a little north
Well,
of
so
Naples.
now, all right. So let me ask you this, because I know. Do you remember what was this? What was the movie that had all the doo-wop in it that Chris Cassone did?
To be honest with you, I
No,
came.
I'm asking Laurie.
Chaz Palminteri.
The one with Chaz Palminteri.
Oh, was it A Bronx Tale?
Bronx Tale? Thank you very
yeah,
much.
very good.
Okay.
So the reason I know that is because one of our singers, I was in with, I played drums in Jersey Boys, and he played Tommy DeVito. He did Bronx Tale, the Broadway thing with Chaz Palminteri. He says it in his rap on stage. So
I would have never remembered
yeah.
the name of that movie.
Yeah, but
I remember
well,
Chaz.
Well, anyway, my friend Chris, he's a great songwriter, but he's mostly a great engineer. Is friends with Chaz, and he did all the doo-wop stuff. Got the credit for, I guess orchestra, whatever, recorded it. I'm not quite sure what the connection was. But when you go out and do a doo-wop show, is it a cappella or is there a band? And what's the band?
So here's what's interesting. So first of all, let me say, it's great to talk to you. I grew up playing, Neil Peart was my hero. I was in a Rush cover band. I love all the bands you've played in. I'm a rock guy, really, and I studied to learn all the other styles like we all do. So, I came to, this was I'm not a scholar of doo-wop, but I studied what to play just for the gig, whatever. So what these guys do, and the interesting thing is, this isn't an oldies act. These guys are younger than me. They're all younger guys who act on Broadway. So their idea was, after being in Jersey Boys and being exposed to the Four Seasons and all that music, to create a doo-wop group. So the show it's three types of things. And it's a band, they sing some a cappella, but we play rhythm section behind them the whole time. There's a third of it is old school, the real old, the flamingos and the crests and all that. Then there's a bunch of Frankie Valli and Motown, Smokey Robinson, R&B. And then there's newer tunes that they made into doo-wop. We do Friends in Low Places, and we do I'm Yours, Jason Mraz, and Valerie, and we just made them into doo-wop tunes.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
First of all, you said about 20 things that set off triggers for me, and that's a drummer thing, isn't it? When you said I'm not really a doo-wop, aficionado, I'm not either. I know what it is. I know what it sounds like hanging out with Chris and watching the movie. We saw this, but I'm not, But if I had to do it, and then you hit the nail right on the head, man, you learn what it is that you need to do to be authentic. And that's all in here.
Is that Frankie Valli doo-wop?
Well, it was. I mean, Sherry was sort of, yeah, I mean, it was.
Is that what doo-wop music is?
Yeah, so they came from that. Like they and by the way, so like I was born in Belleville, New Jersey, and my dad went to high school with all them, Joe Pesci, and
Did he really?
wow.
Well, yeah. I never, I heard about this. He wasn't like hanging out with them, but getting the fact that my career came to playing Jersey Boys on Broadway was sort of like I felt like I was living out my parents' childhood. But they were so like the Four Seasons they were exposed to it, like people singing under the street lamp. But then I think they sort of bridged the gap from that to pop, and of course Bob Gaudio is like, he's still producing Broadway shows now. So, yeah, doo-wop into pop, I guess I'd say, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, it's it morphed because don't forget in those times, you had the Fabians and the Bobby Darin and all the other guys that were poised to go and be that there was that whole thing going on, the teen idol vocal thing. And funny enough, we watched a documentary on Tab Hunter last night.
Yeah.
I don't know who I don't know him.
Yeah, I didn't really know him either.
Yeah, see, I just barely know him because I was. It's funny because where you are, to me, one of the things I love about doing this show is you get everybody's most important slice of their DNA in like what cartoons they watched and what music, so that 12 to the 11 to 13, 14 year period always has major effect on anything else that comes after it. So it's funny to listen to everybody's different things, the things that influence them. And, I remember the end of that of the doo-wop period, but I remember
Tab Hunter.
And Tab Hunter actually tried putting out an album
He
that
put
was...
out a lot of albums, and he could not sing.
This guy couldn't sing. Talk about the Hollywood machine.
He looked really good.
He looked really good. He was signed to what's his name, Jack Warner. Right?
Oh yeah.
And when Jack Warner says whatever he says, you do that, and that's what it is. So he's used to being, I can do anything. I'm untouchable. And then finally he says to Jack Warner, I'm not going to hang with you anymore. I'm going to go and do this. And Jack said, really?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but anyway,
But when you said you heard the end of it, so when I was coming up, I was born in 1970, right? So I'm guessing by who you played with, the guys. So I heard Alex Van Halen and Neil Peart, and that's why I wanted to be a drummer. So I was playing along with, as a teenager, I was playing along, Rush and Van Halen, then Ozzy, but it was kind of it was past Zeppelin, right? It was like the hair metal bands. So I'm guessing you were into the bands right before, the rock, you were, right? Like the Who and Zeppelin, and which I came to later because they were not, as big when I was young.
Yes, but don't forget, there's two kinds of,
Jimi Hendrix.
and this is another fun thing. You're born in '70. Okay, I'm born.
I got you.
I'm born in '52. Hey, listen, I'll turn proudly 70 this year, and I still rock. So I'm good.
Great.
But I came up in a time before Led Zeppelin, before all of that stuff, which is what's so interesting, especially when I talk to guys, of your time. And I don't look at it as, early or late or young or old. It's just where the rings on your tree actually are with regard to the history of it. So for me, there was a time when there was no John Bonham. The first two drummers that I ever heard of, that I knew their names, first three drummers were Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, and Sandy Nelson.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And so then, then of course, when people found out in the 50s, oh, you're a drummer. Can you play Wipeout? You know, it's like, gee, you know, this is before you became Ringo. See, then after the Beatles came out, it was, hey, Ringo. You know what I mean? If you were a drummer. So the stereotype went along with the pop culture. But, you know, as a player, I wasn't even aware of what I wanted to do as a player. I just knew I wanted to make those sounds. And when I heard those sounds for the first time, something said to me, I'm going to do that forever. I'm single digits old. It's an old story, you know, for another time. But
Yeah.
hearing it for the first time, hearing ambience. I was in the balcony, so you know that there was a live band on stage, and it was the concert band, you know, the actual band, not a rock band. But when the drums happened, and it was just, man, something just clicked. So, and so my first musical influences were things like West Side Story, because that was one of the records that my mother had.
Yeah.
And then there was all the Glenn Miller stuff, and who else did she listen to? Tommy Dorsey.
Yeah. The big band era.
Yeah, so there was, you know, that was drumming. That was some
Yeah.
stuff in there. That wasn't just somebody back there keeping time. It was bells. I mean, it was Rich and Krupa.
Yeah.
And you were either a Buddy Rich guy or a Gene Krupa guy. And I personally am a Gene Krupa guy because I love the whole jungle vibe. But you know.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
cool.
from there, the next drummer that I think the next band that I got onto was the Byrds, because I love the harmonies. Oh, but then there was the Rascals, and they had Dino Danelli, and Dino.
Ooh, I gotta plug in my computer. Sorry, I gotta plug in. My battery's gonna die.
Take your time.
okay.
It's cool.
Okay, I'm good. Dino, have you had Liberty DeVito on here? He loves Dino.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And
Hell
Rod
yeah.
Morgan's.
Yeah, Rod's been on.
Oh, Rod, good. Yeah, but I knew we would have the Kevin Bacon. We probably have 100 mutual friends, I guess.
Chuck Berge.
Yeah, Chuck's
Wait, so we gotta stop right there. Chuck, I was Chuck's sub at Moving Out on Broadway. He's the reason I got into doing the whole Broadway thing. He's like so important in my life, Chuck. I love him.
Oh, okay.
Great guy.
Well, we have the one who played Billy Joel in Moving Out
We have him.
on the show regularly.
In a
and
cage?
why can't I think of his name? What the hell?
Are you talking about
Yeah,
Wade?
Wade Preston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were doing this thing. I had
He
to
was
stop
coming on
doing
once
it
a week.
because he was on in the height of it
We
all.
love
but
him.
He was on. He would come on. He was our musical on Friday nights.
Oh, you're kidding. This is so funny.
Yeah, during the pandemic
we do
when
this
he
thing.
could play.
We do this thing on Friday nights called Free for All Friday.
Right.
And it's really anybody who's ever been on the show, yourself included now, because now you've
That's right.
Just come in anytime you want between
On
7
Friday
and 8.
nights.
Say something, say nothing, say hello, get in the comedy. It's just
And Wade would bring his
it's a hang. So Wade would come.
keyboard.
He'd have lights. He'd be lit,
Yep.
and he'd have his whatever he was playing.
And he
Yeah.
would play us out
And
at
he
the
would
end of
play
the
us
show.
out, and if it was really
He'd
fun.
sing a
Some of those
song.
shows with him were great.
He's
He-
great.
He's wonderful. And so the other guy who was the sub mostly in the band besides me with Chuck that played with Wade a ton also is Mike Sorrentino. Did you have Mike on here?
Yes,
Mike
we've
on the
had
show
him on
too.
too.
Yeah. Mike and I both studied with Don Famularo years ago, and then
Yep.
yeah. So when I started subbing, Chuck was like, "Oh, there's another guy that the band really likes, and you and him are like, going to be here a lot." I'm, what's his name? He's like Mike Sorrentino, and I was like, "You're kidding?" Because we went, and your Friday night thing. I think the other person who kind of led me to you for this was Jeff Seitz.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jeff, sure.
He's on every Friday night too.
He's in the crowd. Yeah, every
And
Friday.
so do you know why that connection happened? So I do drum books for Hudson Music. I'm like the editor, and I write them too.
Stuart
And
Copeland.
I wrote a book about Stuart Copeland, and
Right.
Stuart was like, "You got to talk to Jeff about my gear." So that led to me and Jeff becoming buddies, and it's,
What a great guy Jeff is. We love Jeff.
he's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, he's a great guy. Well, let me ask you about the book.
Yeah, we have not heard Stuart.
Because
so
we're all
cannot-
about promo, man. I mean, there's,
Yep.
So
she lets us do what we want because they don't even know we exist.
sweet. Yeah, I'm like, besides playing, I always, I've been teaching a long time, like I said, and I started doing articles and things for Modern Drummer, just I like transcribing songs. And then I got into the writing side, I guess, after that. When Warner Brothers was still doing drum books, they actually had me transcribe a Zeppelin book, and I was like, I really like this. A lot of things happened, and it led me to getting into the editorial side, and then I became the editor for Hudson Music. Still playing and teaching, I do it from here. It's Rob Wallace is the owner, and he's a drummer himself. And so I started doing all these books, and his.
I gotta wait. See, this is getting too much. It's like ding, 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 ding.
I'm sorry.
I need a bell. I need to get a bell. I'll get a bell.
We have a bell.
Oh, well, no, that's all right. That's okay. We'll use the bell another time.
Okay.
How much crap did you take from people about, oh, no, man, that's not how he did it?
Not much, really. We could really get in the weeds about it. Like when you're writing stuff out, right? Like when you're writing stuff out with the Zeppelin recordings, or you go back to Krupa, or you go back to Buddy or whatever. It's not like today where you have a video, an educational video, and you could dissect every note, right? So
Believe me, I know.
right, so you had, if you were learning Who tunes to play with Entwistle or whatever, like, so I decided to have an approach to doing it, and my approach was, you sort of have to figure like in Stairway to Heaven when he goes to the ride, he's playing his hi-hat, and you could sort of guess that he's playing eighth notes, but you don't hear all the eighth notes. You only hear some of them. So, I had to decide, should I write out stuff that I don't hear, or should I only write out the stuff I hear? So I sort of approached it like I'm only going to write the stuff I hear, unless I'm absolutely certain that he's playing that stuff, right? So like on Immigrant Song, like it's a pattern, so he's playing the last ghost note of the bar every time. So I would write that in every time. But yeah, and so sometimes the real dream come true was Hudson led me to working with Neil Peart. I did this book with Neil, and he became a friend of mine. And so I did get some fans who sent me some stuff about this, and actually they were right. I did a correction to the
They
digital.
usually are painfully so.
Yeah, so you can't, like, I'm just lucky I get to do this and work with these great guys, but I'm not saying I know everything. I just try as best I can. And
Oh, man, listen, let me tell you what. I've been in this business my whole life. I didn't even know it was weird until I moved here. Right. I thought everybody's got to be in a band or they're a civilian, and that's just what it was. But I never realized how unusual what we did was. And it gets to a point, the thing that I found out doing the show is it gets to a point where guys arm themselves in the primary times. I mean, you would have been doing it at a different time in your life than I did it in mine, but you would be starting to see the future take place and say, well, I better pack for this. I better learn this. I better know this, because if I want to go here and be this and do that, this is what my drill. And that's a very cool thing to do, especially if it works. I mean...
Well, we actually contributed to a book recently. Someone wrote a book on John Entwistle.
Yeah, but this is a music thing. This is not... This is not...
This
is
is
it auto?
about...
Yeah, it's not auto... It's not biographical, or...
yeah, so I'll just show, with the Stewart book, there's transcriptions in it, but like, not only do I analyze the songs, but there's definitely there's history of them. Like he sent us like childhood photos, and we have like a whole backstory. So like the idea was like, and Rush did this. Like it could be for sale at the merch booth, and non-drummers would buy it, and they do. So it's it's like a
Copeland one.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
And interestingly, I'm assuming that the John Entwistle book was a biography of some kind.
Yeah,
right?
It was a very, very accurate telling of John's story.
Yeah.
So we with Hudson, we started doing that as well, and I actually edited Liberty's autobiography for Hudson.
Oh.
So that part of it is like when I first started doing it, I was like, educational drum books, it's going to be paradiddles, but I always like to read. And then, all this other stuff that I do outside of playing, I just learned it all on the job. I'm like, I kind of like doing this editing.
Right.
I'll do it.
Survival tools. That's one of the things. One of the reasons I did this show was because guys who I call lifers, who are in this business from the minute they start breathing until the minute they stop, those guys are the guys that know how to morph and change and become whatever they need to become to continue to be what it is they need to be, that they're compelled to be. Now it sounds very abstract, but if you're a bird and you're kept in a box and you're never let out, it goes against your nature. I mean, I think the same thing is true for musicians, especially for drummers, because it's the most primal instrument. So
Well, I'm interested in. I read about you. So I have a degree in architecture. That's what my college degree's in, and I know you do. You've been doing. I guess you've been producing art since it's just one of your other passions that you do.
It was something that I always, I guess. I mean, as I remember, it's not like I remember. Oh wow, it's like I grew up playing with. There was just a bunch of cool stuff, pencils and cards, and I grew up. My grandfather was in the manufacturing business, clothing manufacturing, when it was done in the States, and this is going way back to the 50s. And so he had a couple of factories. They were really cool, but there was all kind of empty spools of thread, the big industrial things, which was like, if you're four, man, this is like, wow, I got a trumpet or whatever.
Yeah, they were like pyramids.
And so I had tons of pencils and stuff to write on and scissors to cut things with. And, they all watched over. So I was artistic. I was artistic from the get-go. I remember always wanting to make things look a way, or, and anytime I found a new way to do that, crayons, a pencil, chalk, it was like a whole new thing. Then music came along in elementary school in around the same time, but a little later. Kindergarten, the high school band came and played at my elementary school, and the minute I heard the drums, man, that was it. I mean, I said to the kid next to me, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And there's a good chance that she saw you play when you were in Naples, because she lives down in Naples.
She lives in Naples.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So interesting question for you. So what I find interesting is when you were doing the art stuff and you got inspired at that young age, did you like we always talk about in the drumming, and especially with me doing all the education, to study the greats. Were you or did you subsequently become aware and have influences like Picasso or was it just your own thing? Like you didn't?
No, it was totally. I'll tell you a funny story about that.
Have you not seen his shirt?
It was totally my own thing. I had no idea that anybody else even made art.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, as I got older, I would see other kids in school doing it and so on and so forth. And I had instruction. I always gravitated in school to whatever the art class was. And in my elementary school, you couldn't study music or take lessons until 4th grade, which was like, what? And the minute I heard the band play, it was, I need some drums, I need drums, I need drums. And it was like, oh, get them some drums. So I had the little rainbow kit with the cowboy on the front, and I Keith Mooned the shit out of that in the first hour that I had it.
Of course.
And then I got a Slingerland kit, and by the time I got to 4th grade, the guy's telling me, okay, take your stick and hold your left hand out like this and put the stick here, and we're going to hold it here and waggle it back and forth. And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
And so, and then, okay, now put these fingers. So I'm thinking, all right, I guess I got to learn how to do this, right? Because I always played with a traditional grip. But whatever he's teaching me, I can't get any power out of it. So I'm just like doing whatever I was. Lessons that I didn't get along. I was told by my junior high school music teacher that I should give up trying to be, so I'm going to be a professional musician. I was that kid.
Yeah.
And I was told by my seventh grade
Oh,
drum ensemble instructor that I should not even think about becoming a professional musician because I didn't have what it took to be a professional drummer.
okay. We have some comments here from the Children of the Lawn, which are our viewers.
Yes.
They're the
Certainly
lawn chair
are.
people who have turned into the Children of the Lawn.
Okay, great.
Okay, well, Jeff is watching, so
Oh, Jeff.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
Has
Keith
he-
Michaels. I don't know if you know him.
Of course, yeah. Hey, Keith.
He's saying hello, hello, hello. Now, Paula said Joe's wife, Kim, is also an accomplished percussionist.
She's a public school teacher and a musician also. You gotta. That's how you find someone to put up with your crap. They're also play the drums and play music. And my wife said my wife said to me, I knew I was in love with her before this, but one time she said to me, "What you need to put, how some people like they get married and their wife doesn't want, or their husband, partner, whatever, doesn't want them to play. You got to be home on the weekends." My wife said to me, Kim said to me, "You have to play, or you're a basket case if you don't play." It's like, that's it. We're partners, and it's true. Like luckily I make a living at it, but if I didn't, I'd have to do it anyway,
Right.
Right,
Because you're like a
exactly.
Labrador retriever that needs to play with that ball, right?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story because I've taught. I don't know what it says anything about my teaching or any of that stuff, but I have a book that's still published by Hal Leonard.
Oh,
So
what is it called?
it's called Take Two: Building Rhythm Structures Over Double Bass Drums.
Oh, cool.
It's really who did the book with all the permutations? Was it?
David Garibaldi did a bunch, and
Yeah,
Gary Chafin.
Your teacher was Al.
Chapin, Jim Chapin.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. We went to his funeral, actually.
Yeah, I was down
Yeah.
Here in Fort Myers.
Yeah, because it's anyway 6 degrees of separation.
There you go.
There you go. Right. So I decided to write a book that made sense of because every double bass drum player in the world goes double 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 double. They know how to do that, or da 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 da, or da 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 da. But there's no. It's never used. It's never used as punctuation. It's kind of always used as fill or background. So I built a book that if you wanted to put together, that's why it was called Take Two. It's 2 bars of 2/4.
Oh, okay.
Put them together, and you get this going into this. And in the first chapter, I think it's the right hand that changes. In the second chapter, I haven't even looked at it in years. It's the left hand that changes, and then there's the bass drums that change it. It's out there somewhere.
All right, cool. I'm going to look for it.
But I was, I was always about learning stuff, and the thing that turned me off about lessons, I had already been playing for 3 years because I already nagged my mother for drums. So by the time I got to lessons, I didn't want to know about paradiddles. I wanted to know about, crash cymbals and hi-hats.
For sure. Well, I mean, it's funny that we're talking about this. But what's been on my mind lately is, when I studied with Dom, one of the things that was great was he didn't just teach me paradiddles and stickings. We talked about the music business. We talked about running a business, and I've been lucky enough, to have students that came to me as, a 6th grader, and now they're a professional drummer. And I have a lot of them right now who are going into it, and I feel like it is harder for them now than it was for us. For instance, the places you could play, simple things, the number of places you could play. When I tell them go out there and do some gigs, and there's less of them. There's less kids in the schools that play guitar and bass, and I'm starting to feel like we came up at a golden age, for one thing. But
Absolutely. We there's no question that we came up at a golden age, and we came up at the peak of a golden age and at the dawn of a transition, which was, I talk about it on the show all the time, and the fact that we have 20 years between us, give or take, gives us this whole very cool perspective on when we found out about what and how it affected us.
Yeah.
So just to complete the drummer story for you, Clark, not Gene Clark, what's his name? Mike Clark from the Byrds didn't interest me because he was just keeping time back there. I was more into the harmonies and the 12 string. Dino, now, on the other hand, was playing some time, and then comes along Mitch Mitchell, who is a jazz guy playing fills and crossing the bar line. And then comes along around the same time Keith Moon, who said, "You know what? What rules are what are we talking about?"
Right.
And at that point, that's when I was liberated to do whatever I wanted. And like you, when you were talking about transcribing the Bonham book, we played all that stuff too. But my approach towards it always was, I'm in this band now, and this is my song, and this is the way I play it. It was never like, ooh, I'm pretending to be someone else or trying to. It was like, if I was in this band and this was it right now, and it was playing this night after night, this is where I would take it. And
Sure.
luckily, I was in the band that facilitated that. But
Yeah.
it's always been, how could you know everything that a guy
Right.
played? How do you know what's punched in? How do you know what's overdubbed? You just don't. So,
Right, but the study of it always, and whether you're writing it down or whether you're just bugging out to it in headphones, it's always worth it. And I just want to say also that, like, doing the Hudson thing, like, I see so many newer drummers, and like the drumming itself, so much great music is still getting made. It's just that, like, I feel like everything's in these silos right now. So you have these great drummers, like, Gavin Harrison, like Porcupine Tree. I mean, he's worshipped among drummers. But if he was playing in that band 20 years ago, I mean, he would have been as big a star as Neil was or something. Like, he's great. So I always try to test myself and be like, the older people always think the younger music is junk, and those kids have it so easy. I'm not saying that at all.
no, and believe me, I'm not taking it that way, especially coming from you, because it's not. It's totally legit. I mean, the people that snob out on music are just missing out on more music.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, the doo-wop project, this gig I do now, like, I've realized from doing it, like, the main thing I love is I just love playing music with other human beings. It's like the greatest, it's one of the greatest experiences of being a human being. And I'm not playing a lot of, I had to learn as a guy who came up loving all the people you just said and all these other hard rock music. Like, when you're going ding, 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 there's like two fills that work. You start doing anything else, you're fired. Like, it doesn't work.
Right.
So there's like a discipline that's very pared down, and I'm cool with it, and I'm also cool with, playing a zillion notes in a fusion band if I can get the chance to do that too. Whatever, I just like playing music,
Yeah, and that's, for me, I'm a lead drummer. That's what I always go at. I like to believe I get paid by the note, because then, So, listen, we could talk about it forever and ever and ever. And you said another interesting thing. You like playing music with human beings. For me, being in my first band that had any success from 68 to whatever it was, the chemistry that you form with other players there, the language. Now, all right, you've been married how long?
We've been married since we got married in '97, so 22 years.
Okay.
But we were together for 7 before that, so we've been together like 30 years.
But I'll make the point. The language that you guys have between each other, that if anybody else heard it, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You know what that's what I need in a musical situation. I need that telepathic, that thing of, like, like when birds all change direction at the same time, nobody bangs into each other. That's what really takes me.
Yeah.
There's no that you can't. I can't get higher than that.
Right. And it's funny because that communication, like, I always sort of half joke about subbing on a Broadway show, right? It's like in those shows, they're so elaborate now that you have to learn everything really exact. Some of them are super technical, but like when you're subbing, there's no rehearsal. There's nothing. You go in, you play the show for real, and if you don't nail it the first time, guess what happens? You're fired, right? So you go in and you're like, you meet somebody and you're like, hey, my name's Joe, and then you proceed to play this super elaborate. It's like in Bugs Bunny, where like the dog and Wile E. Coyote are blowing each other up with dynamite, and then they clock out and they're like, see you tomorrow, George. It's nice what it feels like. It's like all of a sudden you're like so that it's, but at the end of the day, that interpersonal connection, like that's really, I feel like it's another form of communication that we have.
It is. It's
not
a
spoken.
universal language. It's the only thing that you can write down that anybody else in any other language can read. It's the only universal text, really. I mean, I'm not very big on Latin, so that's not going to work.
Right.
I mean, you write a piece of music down and put it in front of. Well, that's how they get guitar players to turn down, right? They put music in front of them.
Well, is that your top guitar player joke?
But no, you don't want. Are we ready for the jokes?
Oh no.
Well, my favorite guitar player joke I heard from Stuart Copeland, which is, what do you throw a drowning guitar player?
Wow.
Ooh.
His amp.
Oh.
Very good. Very
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. What guitar player joke do I want about? I think it's the bass player that has to go under the bus today. So we'll have to do the bass player. Bass player, and I'm not sure which one. The dressing room? No, I'll give you the beach. Bass player and the drummer are walking down the beach, and the bass player says to the drummer, "Man," he says, "you walk down the beach, everybody's like, treat you with a lot of respect. You get a lot of, nods of the head, tips of the hat, and so girls all sort of give you the big smile. What's up?" The drummer says, "That's easy, man." He said, "In the morning before I come to the beach, I take a potato and I put it down my pants." So the bass player goes, "Wow, okay, man, thanks. So the next day goes by, right? It's the end of the beach day, and the drummer's hanging out up at the concession stand and sees the bass player coming. The bass player comes up and he goes, "Listen, man, I did what you said," he said, "but like, all the guys were laughing and kicking sand at me, and the girls were giggling and hiding their eyes, and everybody's pointing at me, and I felt like an idiot." And the drummer says, "Well, I put the potato in the front."
Right.
Okay, it is time.
Oh, it is time.
It is time for
I
us to.
have to play a commercial, and then I come back and I ask you the deadly questions. Do you know about the deadly questions? Are you ready?
I'm semi-ready, so let's do it.
That's the best
That's all
way to
that
be.
you
You don't have to over prep for these
That's
because the last minute, you could be inspired to make a left or a
It's
right.
like the
So,
actor's studio,
it's
but
pretty easy. So
different.
I love it.
I'll meet you back here in a minute, and boom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Most of you know I live in Southwest Florida now, and one of my favorite places to grab a bite to eat is Jason's Deli. Scott and Diana Willis have been in business here for over 20 years. The truth is, Jason's Deli has bigger choices of better food. You can eat healthy and enjoy the taste of quality ingredients. They're open 7 days a week for dine-in, pickup, or delivery. With 4 convenient locations from Naples to Cape Coral, Florida, they are a must-try. Jason's Deli, where all good things come from wholesome ingredients. And Bradley's Jewelers in South Fort Myers. Diamonds, bridal, you name it, estate, custom design, and expert repair. Bradley's Jewelers, South Fort Myers. They specialize in amazing moments.
Yes, they do. Amazing.
Yes, they do. In amazing moments.
Okay, where's Joe? There he is. Okay,
So I
now.
asked you the question, but I told you about Free for All Friday, right?
Yeah. Except, wait, Steve, you sound different to me. You sound far away now.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
How about now? I think I must have.
Yeah, now we're good.
Ramus got caught under the hemostat, I think.
Okay. He's back.
He's back. So, I'll tell you some interesting Steve drum facts real quick. Never played wooden drums until between 1970 and 2010. All my stuff was either fiberglass, graphite, nuts. And now I'm into the alder shells, and it's another conversation. But
Cool.
the drums you play are beautiful. I've seen some of those sets, and you do the collective. It's great. We're gonna have to do.
Yeah, you have to come in on a Friday. We have
Yeah.
Lenny Kotke from the Good Rats. He's watching right now. He's the bass player from the Good
Oh,
Rats.
cool.
He
Yeah.
lives in Antigua, and he comes in every Friday night.
Yeah.
So does Jeff Seitz.
And Rich
Mousy.
Verge comes in from Aruba,
Yeah.
and it's really
And
it's a party, and
Joe
it's a lot of fun.
Castelli.
And we need more drummers.
And
because there's
Angus.
too many frickin' bass players in there.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of bass players. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And
So
Wade,
come on, man.
Wade
help,
used to
help
come
a
in.
brother out.
Yeah, Wade used to come in until he started getting gigs again after a
You know,
year.
if you want someone to come and hang out, the best thing to tell them is not. There's a lot of bass players. You know what I'm saying? No, just kidding. Just kidding, guys. I love you all.
Bass player and the drummer are fighting in the dressing room. Manager comes in and says, "What's going on here?" The drummer says, "He took one of my sticks and he won't tell me where it is." And he says, "Why'd you do that?" to the bass player. And he says, "He detuned my bass and he won't tell me which string."
Okay, time for the
Okay,
questions.
time for the big question.
Okay.
And you and I have got to. I'm gonna have to hit you on the burner. Because you and I, there's some things I think that you and I have to talk about doing.
Right on, man.
I mean, you like doing things, right?
I kind of, probably got the impression I do a lot of things
His
at
wife
once.
says he needs to.
Right. So okay. So yeah, believe I have the same need. I have a similar wife that believes that. What was the thing, man? I was going to tell you a funny story about Lori and the drums, but it'll have to wait till another time.
You're going to ask him the questions
I'm
now.
going to ask him the questions now. Yes, dear.
Okay.
But
I'm the producer.
you certainly
And he
are.
does not listen.
Do what the voice. Do what the voice is telling you.
Producer of regret.
Dinner after
The
this is
producer of
over.
dinner, right. Can't mess with that. The other two things I don't worry about. Producer of dinner, I have to yield to that. So, you've been playing around. You've gone east, west, here, north, and south. Favorite restaurant on the road?
Whew, that's a really hard one. One that I really like. I wouldn't describe it as high end, but I can't stay out of there.
It
Does not have to be
It
high
does not
end.
have to be.
We have had people
Well,
say
yeah,
Waffle House.
Yeah, we've had.
So there's a place when we play in South Florida, we always stay in Hollywood. And apparently Oprah said this place is the best burger. It's called La Tub. It's on the Intracoastal Waterway in Hollywood, right across from Margaritaville. And
Hub.
La Tub, Letub, right on the waterway. It's like an old ramshackle dock with old tubs and palm trees and crap, and you sit outside, and the burger is to die for. It's ridiculous.
I have to ask, what's his name from the restaurant from over there?
Yeah, well, because we have a chicken and waffle place over there.
Yeah, we hit
it's
goes for
called
chicken and
Bebe's.
waffles.
The key lime pie there is killing. And I would have to say, I was just in Vegas, and I went to Bootleggers, which is sort of like famous. I was like, damn.
Believe me, I know more about bootleg. That was John Entwistle's favorite place in the world.
Oh, no way.
The one in
one in
London.
London, yeah.
In fact,
So-
I have a bootlegger's ashtray that he gave me somewhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, being from New Jersey, I'm not only Italian, I've eaten a lot of Italian food in my life. That was probably one of the best capellini pomodoros I've had at Bootleggers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, listen, they know how to keep you coming back. That's for It's that's
We have a lot of people from New Jersey come on Friday nights too.
yeah we do.
Do
have
you know
they-
Mousy, the sound girl?
Yeah, do you know Mouse?
Yep.
So man,
She's
you'd
in
be
here
at home
now.
on Friday, man.
And she's
You know,
usually here.
I'll be the odd man out. But it's cool because we get to. There's never enough time for me to talk to my friends, so we're gonna have to pick it up, and we have to talk about things. Anyway.
Okay, so next
All right,
question.
so the next. Well, thank you. Next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
What is the next question?
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a road question, a gig question. The set list comes out, and there it is. Your favorite song to play live. Favorite song to play on the set list.
That's a really, one of my favorite songs that I love playing is Africa. I get to play it on
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And I play an amalgamation. I mainly play I attempt to play the live Jeff version. And there's one or two things that Simon did that I kind of mix in with my own little thing. But yeah, I love when Africa is on the list. I love it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. And the thing about that is when I grew up, playing drums and learning the records, I was learning a lot of Motown because that's, what was around and a lot of and there was always percussion, tambourines or bongos or shakers or something. And so I guess it's what led me into being, we'll call it an overplayer, because I used to make all these rhythms however I could,
Right.
on a closed hi-hat or a tom-tom, which is another reason that I expanded the tom-toms up so high, because I wanted to be able to do timbales or whatever. And I'm used to trying to play all those parts. I thought they were all supposed to be play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And today, when you said, kids today, what they can find out what was played, and they can find out what wasn't played, and then there's no adventure there. Do you know what I mean? For
Right.
me, I thought it's all supposed to be there.
Right. Well, so the adventure is then figuring out how to replicate it if you don't have a percussionist. Like the way Simon plays the beginning of Africa is he just changed the side stick pattern to kind of incorporate that that's in the congas that Jeff didn't play. Well, I could go on, but I won't.
Yeah, but that's I used to love, me personally, in Rat Race we used to do Rosanna, and I used to love
course.
just all the hits in it. It was and to be in a band that does Rosanna and then Birds of Fire and then Sarah Smile, you're cutting a wide path. But it was great.
That's a pretty killing band. I would love to. You just named. I can see we have a lot of the same tastes in what we like.
Oh man!
I guess you're too young to have heard.
Yeah, he
Rat
wouldn't
Race
have heard of it. Yeah,
choir.
we would be.
What? What? Matt Vishnu? Are you kidding me? Like Billy's one of my
Rat Race,
heroes.
no, Rat
Rat
Race
Race
Choir.
Oh no! I you know what? I was aware of you I never listened to it when I was younger, but certainly when I read we were going to be speaking, of course I know.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, right. But and what I mean is that it's not, you weren't there for it, and it's interesting because over the year and a half, almost 2 years that we've been doing the show, I've come to realize the impact that band had in its moment. In that little strip of time that we talked
on a lot
about,
of the Long Island
and how many people branched off from that whole Long Island club scene, which was just. It was
Yeah.
it was heaven. I mean,
Right.
you could play 6 nights a week, every week of the month, never play the same place twice. It was just incredible.
Oh, we got Paul Cooper in the room, another drummer from Kashmir.
Yeah.
He said you
Oh,
had
nice.
to be there.
Yeah, you did. But as long as you're keeping it alive and you're doing your thing, that's what matters. It's like that you're enjoying it and loving it is what really matters.
We got to get on with the
So
questions.
let me move on down to
because Tommy and Kenny have their show starting at 8.
Yes, I try to be respectful to the guys that come up after me in the
that's right.
the lineup. But man, you're going to get the call from me. I hope that's okay
That's okay.
Because we got stuff and things. Would you agree? Stuff and things.
Yes, stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Okay. So speaking of stuff and things, the set list comes out, and you want to tell them to stuff this thing because you don't like this song. I don't ever want to play this song again. What song is that?
It comes up at corporates and club dates also, and I think sadly, although it's a classic, too many bad bar bands ruined Brown Eyed Girl for me.
Oh, you are number 20.
Number
Ding, ding, ding,
20.
ding, ding.
I wish
You
I had
are
a bell.
the 20th person
I need
to
a
say
bell.
Brown Eyed Girl.
You're kidding, really?
No, that
Yes,
is
absolutely.
the most popular unwanted to play song
Oh my God.
from all of. I'm telling you,
That's the
So
most.
you are the
that's
20th person to
20th,
say that.
Number 20.
Brown Eyed
Okay.
Girl.
All
Number
right.
20.
All right.
Yeah, and some of the songs, some of the stuff, it's nuts what burns people's skin the wrong way. But
And we've
that
had
one-
about 5 Freebirds. But
Yeah,
Brown
yeah,
Eyed
yeah.
Girl, you're number 20.
Yeah, quite a few Freebirds and some,
Yeah.
some. So,
All right.
Okay.
okay, so now this is kind of an interesting one because drummers are certainly, we are drummers. No matter what else we are, that's where we come from. That's anything that we ever do will be done as a drummer would do it. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So if you could not play drums, but you could shred at any other instrument on the planet, oboe, French horn, what would it be?
It's easy for me. It's the piano.
Ah,
That's because you need to keep it in the percussion family.
Yeah, and at this part, so I played in this progressive band called Happy the Man, and
I
Frank
know
Wyatt.
Happy the Man.
Yeah, so I was their sort of when they reunited. I was the drummer on their last record, but I would stay with Frank Wyatt at his house in Baltimore. Among the many wonderful piano players I've been lucky to know, but he would just play in the morning, and him and so many all the people who played in Moving Out. It's just the most amazing thing. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I grew up with a Steinway. My mother was a classical pianist, not a pro, but she played classical and pop, and there was so I grew up sitting as
come
long
on.
as
What
I
about when
can
Wade would
remember.
come in here and just like
Oh, Wade is from another. He's so amazing. I mean,
Yes, he is
And let's
amazing.
not forget about
Chris Clark.
Chris Clark, God
Yep.
love him, but no, the oh God, I don't want to forget his name now. The other keyboard player who wouldn't come in if Wade was in, you know him.
Oh, Mike.
Mike Del Judas.
Del Judas.
oh, of course, he's in Billy Joel's band now.
I know.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know, but he said
Yes.
that Wade is such a great piano player that he would
No,
not be in the
B3, I
same
think
room.
he said.
Yeah, Wade's a great organ player, B3, and
Yeah.
yeah, so many in that whole Moving Out Billy Joel scene. Like all those guys are great. You have to be to do it.
You have to be.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah, but Mike Del Judas gave Wade high props.
and I got to give him right to Mike Del Judas because he's a monster too.
Oh my God, and he sings amazing.
Yeah, but listen, we'd go on forever
Yeah.
and ever and ever.
Okay, so
Last
question.
What?
Last question.
Last
Oh, one more. Okay.
Yes, if you could be in a band.
If I could be in a band?
No, if Joe.
They broke me out of the hospital so I could do the show today. I gotta go back. These things are all, I get hooked
By
up
the
to this
way,
at night.
everybody's saying great show tonight,
yeah.
great guests.
We're,
So
we're gonna have to continue this professionally in this venue, but
there's nothing professional about us.
yes,
I knew I was in perfect company.
you are in perfect company. I'm telling you, things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Last
It's coming
question,
at you.
Steve
The
Luongo.
last question.
Yeah.
If you could play one show with anybody, living or dead, past, present, or future, who would
Combination.
it be? Any combination of guys?
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, after playing along to them for, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade for 3 hours every single day, it would have to be Rush.
Oh,
That's good.
good answer.
That's a great answer.
Very
And
good.
it's interesting, as I'm going to tell you something, that unfortunately, we didn't do Rush in my band because probably I was the only one who could sing it. Our bass player, who has just the gift of gold for a voice, would never screech anything like that. And I got stuck when we were in the cover days, young, singing all the Led Zeppelin because I could pinch my vocal cords and make that happen. We never did Rush. And I think as a result of that, I never got as familiar with Neil's touch and his approach and the whole thing. I feel like I kind of maybe missed a little bit of something there because he was such a technician. The only thing that I didn't like is that from my understanding, I never got to see them play live, but it was the same thing, same solo, same everything, every night.
Yeah, so later in his career, he became more of an improviser, but yeah, the parts were really composed.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And I was at the perfect age. Like when I was I started playing in 7th grade, comparatively late, and so like he was like the titan. He was in the cover of Modern Drummer every other month, and it wasn't just the music. I mean, I was like a nerd, and I was like these guys are talking to me. Like I was like, they're mine. They're my band. Like, and no one else in my school liked them. I played all the other metal and rock, but. Yeah, it was like the perfect time because he was moving pictures and signals. I mean, he was the king at that time. And anyway, he was a great guy. He was
Well,
taking
he was, the way that it is for me with those guys. I mean, we could have this conversation for a year and never come up with the answer. Yeah, there's a big difference. There is no best. There is no greatest. There are guys that maybe made more impact than others. There are guys that certainly made more money than others. Guys that maybe were more influenced. But there is no, on that level, man, Neil, any of those guys, Bonham, it's you can't judge it against anything else because there is nothing else like it.
I think that's probably the one thing if I'm teaching, when someone's learning about all the greats, I always tell, maybe an adult amateur or a student, who's the greatest? I'm like, if you hung out with me and my drummer and musician friends and we talk about our favorite artists, we never say that. We just say all the people we love. They're all equally in the pantheon, Well,
because it's like, what's your favorite ingredient in the stew? You know what I mean? Come on. How do you do? Well, I like the meat. Yeah, okay. I like the meat too, but it's not stew without the carrots and everything else. Man, this has been just a thrill, and it's so good to meet you, bro.
Likewise, man.
Stuff and things. I'm telling you, I'm that guy. Stuff and things.
Well, I'm a magnet for stuff and things, so it's all good.
Well, we hope to see you tomorrow night for Free for All Friday. It's the same key to get in that you used tonight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Time,
Oh, yeah, just come on in. There's nothing to it. It's like...
Any Friday I want, I can just show up.
Friday. Yep.
And the coolest thing about it is you have guys coming... I have guys calling while they're driving the gigs.
Yeah.
Other guys in dressing rooms. Jeff called in one time from backstage at a Stewart show.
And Judith yelled at him.
Judith yelled. It's just mayhem.
Yeah.
So you're
Awesome.
welcome, from any Friday starting tomorrow.
I appreciate that. So great to meet you and your lovely wife, who I have not seen, but I hear. Nice to meet you, bro.
My
you know
name's
the
Lori.
artist. You know the artist Sia. You know Sia.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, she's no Sia. Can't see it.
Can't see it.
Got
There
it. Got it.
Look, I got her in here, pal. Let me tell you what. Look, I got. She is the most non-show business person, but yet she runs all our companies. So that's maybe that's.
And I'm
working
fun at
so
a party.
Oh, she's
Awesome.
She's fun at a party.
All
Well,
right,
it's great to meet both of you. What a pleasure.
Joe.
And the pleasure's ours, man. I will see you again. And man, be safe out there. And I'll look forward to seeing you one of these Fridays and then stuff and things. And there you go.
Sounds great, Steve. Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Well, that was excellent, man. That was great.
Yeah. He's
great.
great.
And it's nice to see that somebody, it's such a different path than I took. It's amazing. I have such respect for all those guys. And how many of them have we had on the show? Guys that have done the Broadway work, have done the studio work.
A lot.
It's very cool.
Yep.
And it's,
Meanwhile, the children of the lawn are all saying goodnight and starting to leave.
they're
So
heading-
we will leave you with tomorrow night is Free for All Friday.
You guys are heading back into the bushes already?
Yeah, it's
But
they have a schedule.
back to the bushes, bitches.
Hey, and Kitty and Tommy are on tonight, so there's
I'm
that.
kidding. That's true.
Okay.
Go check out Kenny and Tommy. Am I close? Nah. All right. Anyway, if I don't see you in the future, tomorrow, Free for All Friday. I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.